cooked food, hair salons, bars, heck, even your Rolex guy may potentially be banned if the establishment of the Management of Markets Bill 2020 is passed into law. If this sounds like something that you're potentially interested in, please stick around to this YouTube channel, because I am going to debunk and explain to you exactly what will be the implications of passing of the new Establishment and Management of Markets Bill 2020. So I have a big surprise for you guys that I would really encourage you to keep watching this video, because I'm going to state it at the end of this video, and I guarantee you it will be very essential to you, especially if you have a huge interest in someone broadcasting or advertising or encouraging and supporting your talent. You're watching the Ask Me About the Law YouTube channel, where we have free and honest conversations about the law, especially in regards to cyber and commercial transactions. And I am your host, Margaret Joanne. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The handle is at Ask Me About the Law, and also I'll also leave them linked in the description box of this video. So in a bid to improve the organization and general hygiene of markets in Uganda, the Workers MP proposed the establishment of the Establishment and Management of Market Bill 2020 to repeal the current legal framework regarding organization and management of markets, which is the Market Act Cap 94, which was enacted in 1942 by the legislative government in 1942. Yes, people, it's 2020, and apparently markets are still operating under a law that was enacted in 1942, but that's besides the point. The fact that we have a legislation in the pipeline right now. So the objectives of the establishment of the Markets Bill are: 1, to facilitate the establishment, management, and development of markets in Uganda. 2 is to allow private citizens to be able to own markets in Uganda. 3, to create mechanisms in order to facilitate dispute resolutions in regards to ownership or facilitating the management and running of the markets in Uganda. And then the other objectives is also to regulate the operation and running of certain businesses in markets, and most importantly, I know this is what you're here for in this video, is to regulate the sale of certain products, goods, and services in market environments. I'm going to explain each and every one of these objectives stated above. Please keep watching the video. So I'm going to first start by highlighting the prohibited goods, services, and activities, as well as also persons, under the Establishment of the Management of Markets Bill. Section 23 prohibits any operation of a lodge, a pork butchery, or any bar in any marketplace. Don't worry, if you keep watching this video, I'm also going to define for you what is a marketplace. Please bear in mind that the prior legislative act did not define what is a market, but the current proposed Establishment and Management of Markets a bill, thankfully, establishes what a market is. The Establishment and Management of Markets Bill defines a market as any gathering, building, or events where people can buy and sell goods and food, which is very efficient in comparison to the parameters set by the Markets Act, which unfortunately did not endeavor to specify and define what a market is. This gave room to a rise of makeshift markets, for example, by the roadside, supermarkets, etc. So the definition provided for by the bill, because it's very broad, it will also encompass things as, for example, supermarkets, the new KCCA markets in structures, as well as outdoor markets, for example, like the KCCA market that was in town on weekends. So it has given a proper definition and may be essential, especially during the planning for the city center and its management. Section 8, Clause 2 of the bill mandates that the proposed market plan ought to include breastfeeding centers for mothers who have just given birth to their kids, so that they can breastfeed even while they're at work. It should also include eating places, because ideally the proposed bill is intended to organize the market, so eating places like restaurants are intended to be separately from places where they sell food or cooking or whatever. And then it ought to have rubbish pits, because again, like I said, the essence of this bill is to improve hygiene in marketplaces, and then also toilets and hygienic facilities. So like I said, the essence of this bill is to improve hygiene and organization of marketplace. So I think one of the objectives that the drafters of this bill had in mind, especially in opening up ownership of the market to private individuals and private companies, was to put into consideration the fact that the current market structures right now, for example, the Nakawa Market Vendors Association has been very influential in helping vendors in Nakawa Market by collecting money from them, which they use to provide security, proper hygiene, sanitation for the vendors as well as the market itself. Also, in the same spirit, also providing credit facilities, which one can argue have been very influential in the management and also establishment and maintenance of the market, of the Nakawa market. Also, in the same spirit, the Nachivubo Vendors Association, that has also created the same infrastructure. In as much as it's an informal institution, it was still registered to ensure the Nachivubo Backyard Vendors Association, which was created to ensure and improve welfare of vendors in the Nachivubo market by also creating by collecting money, which is then used to improve security and hygiene of the market itself. So in an initiative for the new bill to cater for such situations, it has also opened up ownership of the market to private companies as well as private individuals. And also importantly, in regards to the ongoing disputes in Kampala or in Uganda in markets, especially in regards to ownership, the objectives of the new bill have endeavored to cater to ownership and also settling of these disputes. Case in point, the matter between Toro Market vendors and the Toro Municipal Council before the High Court in regards to the dispute on ownership of the Toro Market. So Section 23 of the bill will specifically prohibit the establishment of a lodge, establishment of a bar, as well as establishment of a pork butcher in the marketplace. Section 9 of the bill also specifically states that for any business to be conducted, there has to be a formal communication to the local authority communicating the intended business, and then the local authority needs to approve on how that business will be conducted, and also designate specific stalls that will conduct this business. So Section 24 states the specific businesses that are prohibited from being established in the marketplaces. So first things first, the sale of live animals and live animals, yes, will be banned from marketplaces unless it is fish or chicken, and the fish or chicken is being sold in specific stalls that have been authorized by the local authority. So what this means is, if I want to sell fish or chicken which are live in the marketplace, I need to first communicate to the local authority that I'm going to sell fish, and then they'll approve a stall that I can use to sell those live animals which are fish and chicken. Then that's when my business will be legal and recognized to operate in the marketplace. Another thing that is prohibited to operate in a marketplace is selling hides and skins in the marketplaces. So things collected off the animal's back are strictly prohibited. And then another thing that will be prohibited is the sale of fresh meat and offals in the marketplace. So unless the seller seeks for approval from the local authority to sell the fresh meat and the offals in a very specific constructed stall that meets the requirements, then their business will be illegal and a violation of the law. So another thing that will be prohibited from sale in a marketplace is cooked food. So unless the seller seeks, one, permission, and then two, they are selling the cooked food to be immediately eaten in specifically tailored environments like restaurants that are approved by the local authority. So the idea is that restaurants are going to be organized in a specific environment where one can walk in and eat food, and that they meet the hygienic standards mandated by the local authority. So clothes and manufactured goods will also be banned from being sold in marketplaces unless they're sold in specifically tailored places that meet the approval and also supervision by the local authority. So section 24 of the bill provides that anyone who violates the above provisions by conducting any businesses that are not authorized by the local authority will be liable on conviction to punishment by payment of 10 currency points, as well as also imprisonment not exceeding 4 months, or both the 10 currency points and imprisonment. So under section 24 of the bill, it provides that if anyone is found in violation of the above provision by selling or conducting businesses that are unauthorized or unregulated by the local authority, if found guilty by the courts of law, one will be held liable by payment of 10 currency shillings, 10 currency points, as well as imprisonment not exceeding 3 months, or both. But unfortunately, the current bill is yet to provide exactly how they will compute the 10 currency points. So I beg that we refer to section 3 of the Markets Act, which provides that if one is held liable, then if one is held liable for violating any provisions under the Market Act, then they will be liable to make a payment or fine of 500 Uganda shillings. So the working presumption, in my opinion, is that if when computing, they may not proceed below 500 Uganda shillings. That's my working presumption. So I'll keep you updated when the ministry releases their official communication to this effect. So section 25 of the bill prohibits the operation of specific activities in the marketplace unless authorized by the local authority or the government. One of the prohibited activities includes hair salons. It also includes medical clinics from operating in the marketplaces. It also includes carpentry shops, as well as also metal molding shops, and also bars. So it's going to be very tricky not to have a bar in a market. I'm sorry, I'm still also digesting what I've just said. If you know any bars that are operating in a marketplace right now, please leave a comment in the description box of this video or in the comment section. I'm trying to think of a bar that is operating right now in a marketplace, and I kid you not, I can't think of anything offhand. So if you know any, please leave a comment under this video. I need to refresh my mind. For some reason, I can't. I failed to think of any bar. So this bill will also prohibit specific people from accessing the premises of the market, and I'm going to state them below. Anyone who is confirmed to suffer from a contagious infectious disease will be denied entry into the market. So in light of COVID-19, you will not be allowed to access the market if it's confirmed that you are indeed suffering from infectious disease or COVID-19. So according to section 27 of the bill, there are specific people that will be prohibited from accessing the market premises. The first category of people is one who is medically certified and confirmed to be suffering from an infectious and contagious disease will be denied entry into accessing the premises of the market. I'm very curious to see how they will confirm that I'm suffering from an infectious disease. It's not like I'm going to be walking around with my documents on my face, like saying, hey, I have an infectious disease, not grant me access into the market. It's interesting. I'm really curious to see how they will implement it. If you have any ideas on how exactly they will implement it, leave a comment under this video and let's keep this conversation going. Another category of people that will be banned from accessing the premises is people who are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So I think if the monitor at the entrance or exit of the marketplace identifies that you look like you're drunk or intoxicated, and then they will deny you access to the premises. And then individuals who are armed with any firearm or any ammunition will also not be allowed to access marketplaces. And then again, like I said, I am very curious to see how they're going to implement these things, because it's not like I'm going to walk around and be like, I have a gun, like in your face. But maybe the metal detectors will, I don't know, help them to confirm who has a gun and who doesn't have a gun. But then again, we're in Uganda, can we really afford to have metal detectors at every entrance and exit in marketplaces in Uganda? I'm just thinking out loud. If you have any input to this, if you could please leave a comment under this video. I'd like to hear what you guys think. So I think this is the one that hurts for me as an individual. So if you have a pet, you are not allowed to access the market premises because you have a pet. I have a pet. I love my dog, but yes, we will not be allowed to walk into the marketplaces with our dogs. So, ouch, that hurts. So Section 28 of the bill specifically prohibits the conducting of specific activities in market environments. I'm going to explain exactly. First of all, it prohibits playing of games in marketplaces. So people who have been playing Mweso and Ludo in market environments, if this bill is passed into law, will be banned from marketplaces. It will also prohibit the shouting, screaming, singing, and loud noise in market environment. I think one, they're trying to regulate the noise pollution. If you walk into towns and marketplaces in towns, those places are loud. Lord have mercy, they are really, really loud. But another thing I think they're trying to regulate, I personally, I really stay away from town environments because the sexual harassment is just too, I cannot, like, it's just too much for me. I mean, the entitlement, the shouting, the screaming, it's like someone wants to sell to you something by force. If you refuse to buy, then, you know, they abuse you. So I think this specific provision will be a good law if it's passed into law. However, I think it's very hypothetical. I don't see how they're going to implement it, but let us wait and see on the detailed announcement to this effect. I am almost confident every woman in Kampala must have had a similar experience, especially in regards to sexual harassment in marketplaces. It's like, it's now becoming normal. We have normalized it, which is, I don't know, it's just, personally, I find it very sad that we have normalized something like that. Anyway, back to the topic. So spitting in marketplaces is also prohibited. I think the SS of this is trying and also limit the spread of contagious diseases which easily spread through body sputum. So the law is very specific in that if anyone violates these provisions that I've stated above, they will be liable on conviction by a court of law. That's if the matter is taken to court and you're found guilty, you'll be liable to imprisonment for 4 or more months and 10 currency points, or if not, you'll be liable for both imprisonment of 4 or more months and payment of the 10 currency points. Like I pointed out earlier on, the bill has yet to provide a detailed analysis on how exactly it will compute the 10 currency points, but I've also CC'd a relevant authority basing on the Markets Act Authority Section 3, which sets the parameters at around 500 shillings. Now, if you're watching this particular segment, we've come to the end of the video for today, and I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for watching the entire video. I'd like to take this opportunity to encourage you to leave a comment like this video if you really enjoyed the comment that I'm sharing, or if you have any comment, suggestions, inquiries, please leave them in the comment section, or reach out to us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm going to leave the handles under this video and the links, or you can just check us out and ask me about the law. So to show our gratitude, we'd also like to take this opportunity to encourage you to send us your 2-minute videos and audios, or a small statement telling us about your business so that we can advertise it on the Ask Me About the Law channels, that is podcast, YouTube, as well as also the blog. If you have any more questions to this effect, please send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The handle is at Ask Me About the Law, or you can reach out to me personally. My handle is at Nagawaivjo1. I'm going to leave the links to my social media handles in the description box of this video.
Here is Jack. Jack has been a factory worker, but due to the corona pandemic, he's been laid off. He can no longer support his family. The wife turned bitter that Jack is no longer useful. The child is also tired of the quarrels between the parents. Jack feels frustrated and he is contemplating suicide. He sees no one to talk to. He sees no guidance or reason to hope. Jack needs mental support. But Jack has not heard of United Health Initiatives program, UHIPS, a one-stop center for emotional and mental health well-being. The need for mental health doesn't mean you're insane or mad. It's stress, anxiety, depression, and a lot more. We built this platform to cater for all like Jack. You could be like Jack. We avail mental health experts, but also We're a community of supportive space and networking, all aimed at your good mental well-being during and after COVID pandemic. Join UHIPS today